All right, let's dive into automotive engineering drafting today. Um, you're prepping for an interview, and we've got all these RoleCatcher resources to, really help you nail it. Career guides, interview guides. We've even got insights into their AI tools. So we're going to figure out what really matters to stand out. Give you those aha moments that boost your confidence.
What's really cool about RoleCatcher is it's not just about passing the interview. It's about, your whole career journey in this field. And that starts with, what does an automotive engineering drafter actually DO? It's way more than just drawing cars. You're taking like all these complex ideas from automotive engineers and turning them into those really precise blueprints that make manufacturing possible.
Yeah, you're kind of like the bridge between imagination and the real world. You're like
Yeah.
translating those dreams into the really specific, nitty-gritty details that make those vehicles like actually come to life. And speaking of the real world, the RoleCatcher Career Guide mentions that the job outlook for this field is like super bright. I think they said a projected 7% growth rate,
Yeah, 7% growth rate.
which means your skills are going to be in high demand.
High demand, yep, but also high competition, right? So let's make sure that we are the one who shines in that interview. Rollcatcher's interview guide has a ton of sample questions, and we're going to dissect those to give you a real edge.
We'll go through each question. We'll figure out what the interviewer is really trying to get at and give you those like concise, impactful responses to make you memorable. Oh, and we'll also prepare you with like potential follow-up questions so you're ready for anything.
Yeah, for sure. A classic opener they love to use is, what inspired you to become an automotive engineering drafter? It sounds simple, but they really want to see your spark, that genuine passion that shows you're not just in it for the paycheck.
So how do we like showcase that passion without being cheesy about it?
Well, think back to your origin story. What first got you fascinated by the mix of art and engineering? Did you tinker with engines as a kid, or maybe you were sketching car designs? Was there a specific experience, maybe in school or with CAD software, that kind of ignited that fire for you? You could say something like, ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with how things work. I'd take apart anything I could get my hands on, toasters, bikes, whatever. And then in high school, I discovered CAD software. It was like this whole new world, being able to design something on a computer and then seeing it like actually exist in the real world.
Yeah.
That's what really hooked me.
I love that. That's really personal. It highlights your technical journey, and it
Mhm.
just sounds genuine. What kind of follow-up question could they hit you with after that?
Well, they might want to dig deeper into your CAD software experience. They could ask something like, what CAD software are you most comfortable with and why? This is your chance to show off, your technical skills, but also your ability to explain your choices. You could say, I'm most proficient in SolidWorks. Its interface is really intuitive, and the 3D modeling capabilities are like perfect for complex automotive designs.
Okay, question number 2. What are the like key skills required for an automotive engineering drafter? This one seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, it might seem that way, but there's a bit of an art to answering it well. You don't want to just list skills. You want to show that you get the nuances of the role and what the automotive industry really needs. Remember, in this field, attention to detail isn't just a bonus, it's like absolutely critical. Even a tiny error in a drawing could lead to a huge safety issue down the line.
So how do we bring that up without like sounding like we're lecturing them on safety?
You could say something like, well, on top of being really good with CAD software, an automotive engineering drafter needs a super sharp eye for detail. Like even the tiniest mistake can have big consequences in a car, right? Strong knowledge of how things are manufactured and the industry standards is super important too, especially because safety and all those compliance regulations are always changing. And of course, you got to have excellent communication skills. That's key for working well with engineers and the whole production team.
I like it. You have the technical skills, the detail focus, A&D, the importance of communication, all in one nice, compact answer. Now, what if they come back with, can you give me an example of a time your attention to detail actually prevented a problem in a design? How do we handle that one?
That's where you really get to shine. Have a specific story ready that shows how meticulous you are. Maybe you spotted a dimension that was off that would have messed up a crucial part, or you saw a conflict in the materials that could, like, made a design weak. The key is to be super specific and show how your attention to detail actually made a difference to the project.
Okay, on to question 3. How do you make sure your designs are accurate and precise? This one seems pretty direct.
It does seem simple, but it's a chance to go beyond just saying, I'm careful. They want to see that you have a system, a method for quality control. So you could say, I'm really strict about following industry standards and best practices when I create drawings. I double check every dimension, every tolerance, every single thing, and I use a multi-step verification process, comparing my drawings to what the engineer wanted, and even running simulations to catch any potential conflicts.
That shows how thorough you are and that you're committed to, like, perfect work. But what if they say, what specific industry standards are you familiar with? Do we have to, like, memorize a whole textbook of standards?
Nah, you don't need to list every single one. Focus on the ones that matter most for automotive drafting, like ASME Y14.5 for geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, or ISO standards for technical drawings. Be ready to, briefly explain why those standards are important and how they impact your work, though.
Okay, question number 4. How do you handle design challenges, and what steps do you take to overcome them? They're really digging into your problem-solving skills here, huh?
Oh, totally. Everyone runs into problems in their work, but what makes you stand out is how you deal with them. They want to understand how you think, how resilient you are, and if you can find solutions. You could say something like, when a design challenge comes up, the first thing I do is step back and really define the problem, figure out the root cause. Then I brainstorm solutions, considering all the different angles and talking to the right people on the team. I carefully think about each option. Is it doable? How much will it cost? And what impact will it have? Of course, I document everything I do so everything is transparent and we have a clear path forward.
So you're showing them you're logical, you're a team player, and you're all about finding solutions. What if they hit you with, tell me about a time you had to make a tough design decision with, like, not enough information? How did you approach it?
That's the perfect time for a good story. Have a specific example ready that shows how you can think critically under pressure. Maybe you had to choose between two designs, but you didn't have all the data, or you had to make a judgment call with limited feedback from the engineers. Whatever it was, walk them through your thought process. What factors did you consider, and what was the outcome?
Okay, question 5. How do you make sure your designs meet all the safety and regulatory requirements? This one's obviously super important in automotive design. But how do we make our answer, stand out?
It's not enough to just say you know the rules. You need to show them that you understand the WHY behind them and how they affect how you design. You could say, safety and following the rules are the most important things in car design. I know all the relevant standards and regulations, like the FMVSS and the European ECE regulations. I use a combo of design checks, simulations, and talking to experts to make sure my designs not only meet but exceed these requirements.
Boom. You've shown them you understand the regulations and you're proactive about following them. Now, what if they follow up with, can you give me an example of how a specific safety regulation, actually changed your design choices in a recent project?
Time to get into the details. Maybe you had to add a specific safety feature, or you had to change a part to meet crash test standards. The important thing is to show your practical knowledge and how you use those rules in real-life design scenarios.
Amazing insights. Okay, before we get to more interview questions, let's take a quick detour and look at some career advice from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. It's not just about landing this one job, it's about, your whole future in this field.
Exactly. The guide really stresses how important hands-on experience is, especially when you're just starting out. Internships, apprenticeships, they're super valuable. They're not just about learning the basics. They show you're proactive and eager to learn.
It's like saying, hey, I'm serious about this and I'm willing to put in the work. All right, let's talk about, moving up the ladder. What are some paths for advancement?
The guide lists a bunch of possibilities. You could become a senior drafter, which means leading a team and mentoring new people. You could move into a design engineer role, where you have more responsibility for the whole design process. Some drafters even become project managers, overseeing entire vehicle development projects.
Wow, that's a lot of exciting options. Is there anything you can do to, increase your chances of moving up?
Specialization can be a real game changer. The guide suggests focusing on one specific area of automotive engineering, engines, suspension systems, things like that. If you become the expert in a niche area, employers are going to be fighting over you.
That's a great tip. But even if you specialize, it's super important to keep learning and stay ahead of the curve because this industry is always changing. What are some ways to keep growing throughout your career?
The guide recommends going to industry conferences, reading publications like Automotive Engineering, and getting involved in online forums where people share knowledge and stuff.
Continuous learning. That's the key. Now let's get back to interview prep and tackle another common question. How do you manage and prioritize, like, lots of different design projects all at the same time? This was all about your organizational skills and how well you handle pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. In the automotive design world, everything moves fast, so multitasking is a must. You could say, I prioritize projects based on deadlines, how complex they are, and how important they are to the bigger picture. I use tools to keep track of progress, manage timelines, and assign resources properly. And I'm a big believer in clear communication. I keep everyone updated about potential delays or any changes that need to be made.
That shows them you're organized, proactive, and you can handle multiple projects without things falling apart. Now, let's say they say, tell me about a time you had to juggle multiple projects with, like conflicting deadlines. How did you handle it?
Another chance to tell a good story. Walk them through a real situation where you had to prioritize, make some tough decisions, and deal with competing demands. Show them you can stay cool under pressure and get things done even when things are crazy.
Okay, before we get into more questions, let's talk about RoleCatcher's AI tools. These are like a secret weapon for your job search.
Totally. These AI tools can take your prep to another level. Remember all those sample interview answers we talked about? Well, RoleCatcher's AI can help you make them even better and tailor them perfectly for specific jobs. It gives you a serious competitive advantage.
It's like having a career coach right there in your pocket. You can get feedback on your resume, your cover letter. You can even practice video interviews and get detailed analysis. That's pretty awesome.
It really is. It takes the guesswork out of how to present yourself in the best way and helps you showcase your skills and experience so it resonates with employers.
All right, back to those interview questions. This one often trips people up. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult client or stakeholder. How did you handle it? It's tricky because it's not just about technical stuff. It's about people skills and being, diplomatic.
Yeah, for sure. They
Mhm.
want to see how you handle those tough interactions, how you stay professional, and if you can find solutions even when you're dealing with difficult personalities. Remember, you're often the link between the engineers and the people who are going to be using your designs, so diplomacy is key.
So how do we approach this one without, like, bashing a former client or making it sound like we can't handle conflict?
Focus on showing them that you're a good listener. You can empathize, and you can find common ground. You could say, I had a situation where a client was really unhappy with a specific part of the design. I took the time to understand their concerns. I asked questions to be sure I understood and really listened to what they had to say. I explained the reasons behind the design choices, but I also acknowledged their point of view. We brainstormed some different solutions together and found a compromise that met their needs and also worked from a technical perspective.
That's a great example of turning a potentially negative situation into a win-win. What kind of follow-up question might they ask?
They might ask, what did you learn from that experience and how has it changed how you interact with clients? This is about showing them you can reflect on your experiences, learn from your mistakes, and constantly improve how you communicate and solve problems.
So it's all about growth and adaptability. Okay, let's tackle this one. Describe your experience working with different CAD software programs. Which one is your favorite and why? This is your chance to really show off your technical expertise.
For sure. Be specific, mention the programs you're good at, and highlight any specializations you might have. But don't just list them. Explain why you prefer a certain program. What are its strengths? How does it fit with your design style or how you solve problems? You could say, for example, I've worked a lot with AutoCAD, SolidWorks, and Cadia. I'm comfortable with all three, but I really like SolidWorks. It's intuitive and has powerful 3D modeling capabilities, which are perfect for the complex designs we see in the automotive world.
That's a really strong and specific answer. Way better than just listing names. Now, what if they throw a curveball and ask, are you familiar with any of the latest trends or technologies in CAD software? How do we stay on top of things in such a fast-moving field?
Stay curious. Keep learning new things. Subscribe to industry publications, attend webinars, follow the experts on social media. There are so many ways to stay up to date with the latest in CAD. And don't be afraid to try out new software or tools. Even if you don't have a ton of experience with a particular program, just showing them that you're eager to learn and adapt can make a really good impression.
That's a great point. It's not just it's about being willing to grow and keep up with the industry. Okay, let's look at this question. How do you stay current on all the changes to industry standards and regulations? This is really important in automotive design, especially because those safety and environmental regulations are always evolving.
Right. It's not enough to just say you're aware of the regulations. You have to show them that you're proactive about staying informed and making sure your designs meet the latest standards. You could say something like, I regularly check for updates from regulatory bodies like NHTSA and the EPA. I also subscribe to industry publications like Automotive Engineering and go to relevant conferences to stay on top of changes in standards and best practices.
Now, that's a really thorough and proactive approach. What if they follow up with, what are some recent changes to safety or environmental regulations that have, really impacted how cars are designed?
Be ready to talk about specific examples, like maybe new crash test standards, stricter emissions rules, or requirements for ADAS, those advanced driver assistance systems, showing them that you not only know the regulations, but also understand how they affect design in the real world. That's what sets you apart.
Those are great insights. Okay, before we dive into more questions, I want to go back to RoleCatcher's AI tools. These things are like a secret weapon for your job search.
Absolutely. We've already talked about how AI can help you make your interview answers better, but it goes way beyond that. Their platform has a whole bunch of tools designed to help you at every stage of your job search.
Let's look at some of those features and see how they can help you land your dream job. One of the most impressive tools is their AI-powered resume and cover letter builder. It takes the guesswork out of creating those application materials that really stand out and are tailored to each job.
Yep, you just put in your information, and the AI goes through the job description, figuring out the most important skills and experience. Then it suggests specific keywords and phrases to put in your resume so it matches perfectly with what the employer is looking for.
It's like having a personal resume writer right there at your fingertips.
Mhm.
And it's not just keywords. It can also suggest ways to improve the overall structure and content of your resume so it's more concise, impactful, and, ATS friendly.
Exactly. And we can't forget their AI-powered interview prep tools. They have a huge database of interview questions for all kinds of careers and industries. You can practice your answers using their video interview simulator.
It's like having a mock interview with a virtual interviewer. You record your answers, and the AI analyzes how you do, giving you feedback on what you say, how you say it, even your body language.
It's an amazing way to get comfortable and polish your interview skills before the big day. And the AI doesn't stop there. RoleCatcher's platform can actually help you get noticed by potential employers.
If you want, their AI can match your skills and experience with open jobs that you'd be a good fit for. It's like having a personal recruiter working behind the scenes to find the right opportunities for you.
It's a fantastic resource, especially for people who are passively looking for jobs. They want to see what's out there without actively applying for everything.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions. This one can be a little tricky. Can you walk me through how you create a technical drawing from, like, an engineer's sketch or concept? This is where you get to show off your technical skills and your ability to take an idea and make it real.
Exactly. Be clear, concise, and pay attention to detail in your explanation. It's like you're letting them see inside your mind as a drafter. You could start by saying, first, I carefully go over the engineer's sketch or concept, making sure I understand everything clearly, including what they want to achieve with the design. Then I pick the right CAD software and start creating a 2D or 3D model, making sure I get the dimensions, tolerances, and materials right. I work systematically, going through each component or assembly step by step. I always double-check my work against the original design, making changes as needed. Once the drawing is finished, I do a thorough review to make sure it's accurate and follows all the standards.
That's a super systematic and complete explanation. What if they say, have you ever had a situation where the engineer's design just wouldn't work or needed to be changed? How did you handle that?
This is about showing them you can think critically, communicate well, and work with engineers to find solutions. Maybe you had to suggest a different design approach, or you found a potential manufacturing problem that meant changing the original idea. What matters is that you show them you can think outside the box, come up with innovative solutions, and not give up when faced with challenges.
Great advice. Okay, let's move on to a question that really focuses on your attention to detail. How do you make sure your drawings are error-free and meet the highest quality standards? This is super important in automotive drafting, since even a small mistake can have huge consequences.
You got it. They want to see that you take pride in what you do and that you have a system for catching any potential errors. You could say something like, I have a multi-step quality assurance process that I use for every single drawing. First, I review it myself, checking all the dimensions, tolerances, and annotations really carefully. Then I get a colleague or supervisor to take a look with fresh eyes. I also use the automated checking tools that are built into the CAD software to find any potential mistakes or inconsistencies. And finally, I always compare the final drawing to the engineer's original design just to make absolutely sure it meets all the requirements.
Wow, that's a really thorough approach. Very impressive. Now, what if they ask for a specific example? Like, can you tell me about a time you got a major error in a drawing before it went into production? What did you do to fix it?
This is where you can tell a story that really shows them how detail-oriented you are. Take them through a real-life situation where you noticed something that could have been a costly mistake or even a safety issue, and how you prevented it because you were paying such close attention.
That's great advice. Okay, before we finish this part of our deep dive, I want to go back to RoleCatcher's career guide and talk about something it emphasizes. The importance of always learning and developing your skills in this industry, which is always changing.
Right. The guide makes it clear that the automotive industry is changing super fast, what with all the advancements in electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and, making manufacturing more sustainable. To stay on top of your game and stay competitive, you have to keep learning.
So what are some practical steps you can take to keep growing and expanding your skill set?
The guide has a bunch of suggestions. First, stay informed about the latest trends and technologies. Read industry publications, go to conferences, and participate in online forums. It's all about keeping your finger on the pulse of what's new.
That's a great starting point.
Yeah.
But what about, like, learning new skills or getting better at the ones you already have?
There are tons of options. Think about taking courses or workshops on new CAD software, emerging design techniques, or regulations specific to the industry. Online learning platforms have a ton of resources, and a lot of professional organizations offer training and development programs.
Those are excellent tips. But it's not just about technical skills, is it?
You're right. Soft skills like communication, teamwork, and problem solving are becoming more and more important in the automotive industry. As technology keeps advancing and design processes get more complicated, being able to collaborate well with others is going to be essential.
So how can you develop those soft skills?
Look for opportunities to work on projects with other people, practice being a good listener, and be open to feedback. Joining professional organizations or industry groups is another good way to network with people and learn from their experiences.
Those are some fantastic suggestions. Well, we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive, but there's still much more to explore.
Absolutely. We have more interview questions to break down, career insights to uncover, and we'll dive deeper into those AI-powered tools.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll continue our journey into the exciting world of automotive engineering drafting.
Welcome back. We're diving right back into those key interview questions that can really make a difference in your job search.
And remember, we're not just throwing generic answers at you. We're trying to figure out what the interviewer really wants to know and give you the tools to create responses that show off your skills and, who you are.
So let's jump right in with a question that often throws people off. How do you handle design changes and revisions that clients or stakeholders ask for? This one's kind of tricky because it's not just about your technical abilities, it's also about how well you adapt, collaborate, and stay professional, even when the goalposts keep moving.
It's like they're testing how flexible you are and if you can roll with the punches.
Yeah, exactly. They want to see if you get that design is rarely a straight line from A to B. Revisions are going to happen. It's part of the process. You could say something like, I see design changes and revisions as opportunities to make the final product even better. I stay positive, I collaborate, and I work closely with everyone to make sure their feedback is included in a way that works. And of course, I document everything, communicate clearly, and make sure those changes are made correctly and efficiently.
I like it. That shows adaptability, a commitment to working together, and a really meticulous approach to documentation. All super important for a good drafter. Okay, what if they come back with, tell me about a time a client asked for a big design change late in project. How did you manage that?
Time for a real-life story. Have a specific example ready that shows how you solve problems and handle pressure. Maybe a client wanted a huge overhaul just weeks before the deadline, or a stakeholder wanted a new feature that meant redesigning a core component. Walk them through that challenge, what you did to tackle it, and the final result. Focus on showing them that you can communicate well, manage expectations, and be creative under pressure.
Great advice. Okay, let's try this one. Can you describe a really complex design project you worked on and how you handled all the different stages? This is your chance to shine and show off your technical chops, your project management skills, and how you handle complexity.
This is it. Pick a project that highlights your strengths and the skills you need for automotive drafting specifically. Maybe you worked on a super complicated suspension system or a new engine component. Walk them through the project from start to finish. Talk about the challenges, the solutions you came up with, and what you learned.
It's like giving them a peek behind the curtain of your design process. You're showing them you can think critically, solve problems, and manage those big, complex projects like a pro. What if they say, what was the biggest challenge on that project and how did you overcome it? What kind of challenges should we be ready to discuss?
Think about the specific demands of automotive drafting. Maybe you had to work with super tight tolerances, or design something that could actually be manufactured, or meet strict safety regulations. Maybe you had to integrate new tech into an existing design, or find a clever solution for weight or space restrictions. The important thing is to show them you can think outside the box, innovate, and keep going, even when things get tough.
Okay, before we move on to more interview questions, let's take a quick break and look at RoleCatcher's Career Guide again. It's not just about acing the interview, it's about building a successful career.
Right, it's about the big picture. The guide has tons of info about career paths, professional development, and industry trends to help you navigate your way through the world of automotive drafting.
One thing the guide really emphasizes is networking and building relationships. How can aspiring drafters go about doing that?
There are lots of ways to connect with people in the industry. Going to conferences and events is a great way to meet folks, learn about what's new, and share ideas. Joining organizations like the Society of Automotive Engineers, or SAE, gives you chances to meet people, find mentors, and even potential employers.
Those are great suggestions. The guide also talks about how important it is to stay on top of emerging technologies and trends. How can drafters do that?
Read industry publications, follow experts and blogs online, and attend webinars on interesting topics. The automotive industry is moving so fast, it's crucial to stay ahead of the curve by constantly learning and growing.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions. Here's one that often makes people nervous. Tell me about a time you made a mistake at work. How did you handle it? This one's hard because nobody really likes to admit their mistakes.
It's true, but it's a chance to show them your honesty, your accountability, and how well you learned from experience. Everyone makes mistakes. It's what you do after that matters. Pick an example where you learned something valuable and it helped you grow professionally. Don't focus on the negative. Highlight what you did to fix the mistake, what you learned, and the steps you took to avoid making the same mistake again.
So you could say something like, once I made a mistake on a technical drawing, and it caused a small delay in the project. I took responsibility right away, apologized to everyone who was affected, and worked hard to fix the error. I also looked at my process to see how I could improve and put in place some new quality control measures so it wouldn't happen again.
Perfect. That shows you're accountable, proactive, and you're all about continuous improvement.
Okay, here's another one that can be a bit intimidating. What are your strengths and weaknesses as an automotive engineering drafter? This requires some serious self-awareness, right?
Be genuine and honest while highlighting what you're good at and where you can grow. When you talk about your strengths, focus on skills that are directly relevant to the job, like your technical skills, attention to detail, problem-solving abilities, and communication skills.
So for example, you could say, one of my biggest strengths is my ability to picture complex designs in my head and then translate them into accurate, detailed drawings. I'm a stickler for detail, I understand geometric dimensioning and tolerancing really well, and I love creating designs that are both functional and look great.
That's a great way to show them you've got the technical skills and the passion. Now, when you talk about your weaknesses, be honest, but choose strategically. Pick something that's not essential to the job and that you're working on improving. For instance, you could say, one area where I'm trying to get better is time management. I get really focused on the design details and sometimes have trouble meeting deadlines. I'm trying out different time management techniques and project management tools to be more efficient and make sure I deliver projects on time.
I love that approach. You're being self-aware, honest, and showing that you're committed to growth. Okay, let's switch gears again and talk about RoleCatcher's AI tools. We've talked about how they can help you with interview answers and your resume, but there's another part of their platform that's really cool, their personalized career insights and recommendations.
Right. RoleCatcher's AI goes way beyond generic advice. It looks at your specific skills, experience, and career goals to give you personalized guidance.
So for example, if you want to specialize in a certain area of automotive engineering, like powertrain systems or chassis design, Their AI can suggest courses, certifications, or professional development programs to help you reach those goals.
Exactly. It can also help you figure out potential career paths, connect you with mentors or experts, and give you insights into salaries and job market trends.
It's like having your own personal career advisor, right there on your phone. Okay, back to those interview questions. Here's one that often comes towards the end and can be a bit tough. Do you have any questions for us? This is your time to show them you're curious, engaged, and truly interested in the job and the company.
Don't waste this opportunity. Come prepared with thoughtful questions that show you've done your homework and you really want to learn more.
What kind of questions should we be asking?
Ask about the company culture, their design philosophy, their approach to innovation, or how committed they are to sustainability. You could also ask about specific projects they're working on or what the opportunities are for professional development and advancement.
So, for instance, you could ask, what's the company culture like? Can you describe the work environment? Or what opportunities are there for professional development and career growth within the company?
Those are great questions. They show that you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for the right fit, a place where you can thrive and contribute your talents and build a solid career.
I love that. Okay, before we get into our last set of interview questions, let's touch on another awesome feature from RoleCatcher, their AI-powered networking and mentorship platform.
This platform is a game changer for anyone who wants to connect with people in the industry, find mentors, and build a strong professional network. It uses AI to match you with people who have similar interests, career goals, or expertise.
For example, if you're really into electric vehicle design, you can use the platform to connect with engineers or designers who are already working in that area, get their advice, and learn from them.
You can also find mentors who can guide you in your career, give you advice, and help you navigate the ups and downs of the automotive world.
It's an incredible resource for building relationships, expanding your network, and getting valuable insights from people who have been there and done that.
All right, let's get back to those interview questions. This one comes up a lot in technical interviews. How do you handle working under pressure? This is to see if you can stay calm, focused, and productive when things get tough, which is really important in a fast-paced field like automotive design.
So how do we answer this without sounding like we're superhuman and never get stressed?
Be real. We all experience pressure differently, and it's fine to acknowledge that. Focus on the strategies you use to manage stress, prioritize your work, and stay on track with your goals. You could say, for example, I know that working under pressure is often part of the job, especially in automotive design. I have some strategies that help me stay calm and focused when deadlines are tight or unexpected things come up. I prioritize my tasks, break down big projects into smaller steps, and communicate with my team to make sure we're all on the same page.
That's a great answer. It shows you're self-aware, proactive, and you know how to handle pressure effectively. Okay, let's try this one. How do you approach learning new software or technologies? This one is all about how willing you are to learn, how adaptable you are, and whether you're committed to staying ahead of the game in an industry that's always changing.
The automotive world never stands still. There's always new software, new technologies, new design methods. You need to show them that you're excited about those changes and you're ready to keep learning.
So how do we show that we're passionate about learning and can adapt to new tech and software quickly?
Talk about how you learn. Do you prefer hands-on tutorials, online courses, or working on real projects? Highlight your resourcefulness and your ability to learn on your own. For example, you could say, I learn best by doing. I like to dive into new software or technologies by trying them out, working through tutorials, and tackling real-world examples. I'm also comfortable finding information online, joining communities, or reaching out to experts to get insights and speed up my learning process.
That's a great response. It shows that you're a proactive learner who's not afraid of challenges and is good at figuring things out on your own. Now, let's look at this question. Tell me about a time you went above and beyond to meet a deadline or exceed expectations. This one's about your work ethic, your dedication to doing great work, and your willingness to go the extra mile.
Pick an example that shows how dedicated you are, your problem-solving skills, and how much you care about delivering outstanding work. Maybe you pulled all-nighters to finish a project, or maybe you went above and beyond to solve a tricky design problem or accommodate a last-minute client request. The key is to show them that you're committed to excellence and you're willing to do what it takes to get amazing results.
So, you could say something like, I was working on a really important component for a new car model, and the deadline was super tight. I knew it would mean long hours and some serious problem solving, but I was determined to deliver a top-notch design. I spent a lot of late nights and weekends researching, sketching, and refining my design, and I worked closely with the engineers to make sure the component was functional and looked great. In the end, we not only met the deadline, but we exceeded the client's expectations, and I was really proud of the work we did.
That's a fantastic example. You're showing your dedication, your problem-solving skills, and your passion for doing great work.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's go back to RoleCatcher's AI tools one last time. Remember their AI-powered salary negotiation tool?
Oh yeah, this is a must-have for anyone who wants to make sure they're getting paid what they deserve. It uses AI to analyze your skills, your experience, your location, and industry trends to give you personalized salary insights and negotiation strategies.
So if you're not sure what salary to ask for or how to negotiate effectively, this tool can help you out with data and expert advice so you can feel confident going into those salary talks.
It can also help you figure out what you're worth in the market, spot any red flags in job offers, and put together strong counteroffers so you can secure the best compensation package.
It's an awesome resource for anyone who wants to be in control of their salary negotiations and make sure they're getting paid fairly.
All right, back to those interview questions. This one often comes up near the end. What are your thoughts on the future of the automotive industry? This is your chance to show them you know what's happening in the industry, you're passionate about innovation, and you can think strategically about the challenges and opportunities that are coming up.
So how do we answer this in a way that shows off our insights, our enthusiasm, and our forward-thinking mindset?
Focus on the big trends that are shaping the industry, like the rise of electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and sustainable manufacturing. Talk about the challenges and opportunities that come with those trends and express how excited you are about the future of mobility.
For example, you could say the automotive industry is changing faster than ever before, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I believe the future of mobility is all about electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and sustainability. I want to use my skills and passion to contribute to companies that are leading the way in these areas and creating the future of transportation.
That's perfect. It shows you're informed, enthusiastic, and forward-thinking, all qualities that employers really value.
Okay, time for a classic interview question. Do you have any questions for us? This is where you get to turn the tables and find out more about the company culture, the team, the job, and the possibilities for growth.
Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Have some well-thought-out questions ready that show you've done your research and you're really interested. Avoid asking things you could easily find on Google or that are only about salary and benefits. Instead, ask questions that show you're curious, engaged, and want to contribute to the company's success.
So good questions might be, what's the company culture like? What's it like to work here? Or what are some of the biggest challenges the team is facing right now, and how are you dealing with them? Or maybe, what are the opportunities for professional development and growth within the company?
Those are all excellent questions. They show that you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for a place where you can thrive and really contribute your talents.
Great advice. Okay, before we move on to our last part, let's take a look at one more amazing tool from RoleCatcher, their AI-powered networking and mentorship platform.
This platform is a game changer. It uses AI to match you with people who have similar interests, career aspirations, or areas of expertise, making it easier than ever to connect with industry professionals and find mentors.
So if you're interested in something like electric vehicle design, you can use this platform to connect with engineers and designers who are already working in that field. You can get their advice and learn from their experience firsthand.
And you can also find mentors who can guide you, offer advice, and help you through the challenges and opportunities in the automotive industry.
It's an awesome resource for building connections, expanding your network, and getting valuable insights from experienced professionals.
Okay, back to those interview questions. One that often comes up in technical interviews is, how do you handle working under pressure? They're trying to figure out how well you can stay calm, focused, and productive when things get a little crazy, which is essential in a fast-paced field like automotive design.
So how do we answer this question in a way that shows we can handle pressure without making it sound like we're immune to stress?
Be honest and authentic. Everybody experiences pressure differently. Acknowledge that, and focus on the strategies you use to manage stress, prioritize your work, and stay on target. You could say, I know working under pressure is often part of the job, especially in a field like automotive design. I have strategies that help me stay calm and focused when deadlines are tight or unexpected things happen. I prioritize my tasks, break down complex projects into smaller steps, and communicate proactively with my team so we're all on the same page.
That's a great response. It shows you're self-aware, proactive, and you have a plan for dealing with pressure effectively. Now, how about this one? How do you approach learning new software technologies? This question is all about your willingness to learn, your adaptability, and whether you're committed to staying ahead of the curve in an industry that's constantly evolving.
The automotive industry never stands still. New software, new technologies, new design methods, it's all constantly changing. You have to show them you're excited about these changes and eager to keep learning and growing.
So how do we demonstrate our passion for learning and our ability to adapt to new technologies and software quickly?
Talk about your learning style. Do you learn best by doing, through tutorials or online courses? Maybe you thrive on real-world projects. Emphasize your resourcefulness and your ability to learn independently. You could say, I'm a hands-on learner. I like to dive into new software or technologies by experimenting, exploring tutorials, and tackling real-world projects. I'm comfortable looking for information online, joining online communities, or connecting with experts to get insights and learn faster.
That's a great way to put it. It shows you're proactive and not afraid to take on new challenges and seek out knowledge on your own. Now, let's look at this question. Tell me about a time you had to go above and beyond to meet a deadline or exceed expectations. This is all about your work ethic, your commitment to excellence, and your willingness to put in the extra effort to achieve outstanding results.
Pick a story that shows how dedicated you are, your problem-solving skills, and your passion for delivering exceptional work. Maybe you pulled some all-nighters to get a project finished on time, or you went the extra mile to solve a tough design problem, or incorporate a last-minute request from a client. The key is to demonstrate your commitment to doing great work and your willingness to do whatever it takes to deliver.
For example, you could say, I was once working on a key component for a new vehicle model, and the deadline was really tight. I knew it would mean long hours and lots of creative problem solving, but I was determined to create a high-quality design that met or exceeded everyone's expectations. I spent a lot of evenings and weekends researching, sketching, and refining my design, and I worked really closely with the engineers to make sure the component was functional and looked great. We ended up not only meeting the deadline, but we also delivered a design that exceeded the client's expectations. I was incredibly proud of the effort our team put in.
That's an excellent example. It really showcases your dedication, your problem-solving skills, and your passion for doing great work.
Okay, before we wrap up this part of our discussion, let's take one last look at RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools. Remember, their AI-powered salary negotiation tool.
Oh, this is a must-have for anyone who wants to make sure they're getting paid what they're worth. It uses AI to analyze your skills, experience, location, and industry trends to give you personalized salary insights and negotiation strategies.
So if you're unsure what salary range to ask for or how to negotiate effectively, this tool can be a lifesaver. It provides data-driven insights and expert advice to help you navigate the salary negotiation process with confidence.
It can also help you understand your market value, identify any potential red flags in job offers, and create strong counteroffers that showcase your value and help you secure the best possible compensation package.
It's truly an invaluable resource for anyone who wants to be in control of their salary negotiations. Okay, let's get back to those interview questions. This one often pops up towards the end of an interview. What are your thoughts on the future of the automotive industry? This is your opportunity to show them you understand industry trends, you're excited about innovation, and you can think strategically about the challenges and opportunities ahead.
Absolutely. This is where you get to share your knowledge and passion. Talk about those key trends that are shaping the industry, like the growth of electric vehicles, autonomous driving technologies, and the move toward more sustainable manufacturing practices. Share your thoughts on the challenges and opportunities these trends present, and let your enthusiasm for the future of mobility shine through.
For example, you could say something like, the automotive industry is going through a period of incredible transformation, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. I think the future of transportation is all about electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and a greater focus on sustainability. I'm eager to contribute my skills and passion to companies that are leading the charge in these areas.
That's a fantastic response. It shows you're informed, enthusiastic, and forward-thinking, all qualities that any employer would love to see. Okay, time for another classic interview question. Do you have any questions for us? This is your chance to switch gears and ask some questions of your own. It's an opportunity to learn more about a company culture, the team, the specifics of the role, and any possibilities for growth within the company. Don't miss out on this chance.
Definitely come prepared with insightful questions that demonstrate you've done your research and you're genuinely interested in learning more. Avoid asking questions that could be easily answered with a quick Google search, or questions that solely focus on things like salary and benefits. Instead, ask questions that show you're curious, engaged, and truly interested in contributing to the company's success.
Some great questions to consider might be, can you tell me more about the company culture and what it's like to work here? Or what are some of the biggest challenges the team is currently facing and how are you addressing them? Or what opportunities are there for professional development and growth within the company?
Those are all excellent questions. They show you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for the right fit, a place where you can thrive, make a real contribution. All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive, but we're not done yet.
That's right. We've got more to discuss, including more interview tips, career insights, and those powerful AI tools.
Be sure to tune in for part 3, where we'll continue exploring the world of automotive engineering drafting and give you everything you need to succeed in your job search. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into automotive engineering drafting. We've talked about interview questions, career paths, and those awesome AI tools from RoleCatcher, but we're not quite finished yet.
Right. There's one more thing I want to highlight, something that often gets overlooked. It's the importance of showing your passion and excitement throughout the interview.
Yeah, I get that. It's not just about listing your skills and experience. It's about letting them see how much you love this field and how much you want to be part of the team.
Absolutely. Interviewers aren't just looking for someone who can do the job. They want someone who's genuinely passionate about automotive design, who's driven to learn and grow, and who's going to bring a positive, enthusiastic attitude to the workplace.
So how do we, inject that passion and enthusiasm into our answers without sounding fake or, going overboard?
Let your personality shine through. Tell stories that show your love for cars, your fascination with engineering, or your excitement about the latest trends. Use descriptive language, change up your tone of voice, make eye contact, let them see your energy.
So it's like adding a little bit of your own fuel to your answers.
Exactly. Let your passion be the driving force behind your words. Okay, let's switch gears for a minute and go back to RoleCatcher's AI tools. We've talked about how their AI can help you with your interview answers, your resume, and even finding jobs that are a good fit. But I want to highlight one more feature, their AI-powered portfolio builder.
This is a game changer, especially if you want to show off your design skills and stand out from the crowd. It's like having a personal design assistant to help you create an amazing portfolio that highlights your best work.
Yeah, you just upload your design files and the AI goes to work, analyzing your designs, pointing out your strengths, and suggesting ways to organize and present your portfolio in a visually appealing and engaging way. It can even help you create captions, descriptions, and interactive elements to make it really pop.
That's amazing. It's a fantastic tool for anyone who wants to showcase their design talent and make a great first impression. Okay, let's get back to interview prep. Let's talk about that question that always seems to come up towards the end. What are your salary expectations? It can be a tricky question, but remember, you've done your research, you know what you're worth, and you're prepared to negotiate a fair compensation package.
Right. We've already talked about doing your research on salary ranges and understanding your market value. The key is to answer this question with confidence and professionalism without sounding demanding or undervaluing yourself.
So how do we strike that balance?
Reiterate your interest in the position and emphasize that you're sure you can work out an agreement that works for everyone. You could say something like, I'm really excited about this opportunity, and I think my skills and experience are a great match for this role. Based on my research and my understanding of the responsibilities, I'm looking for a salary in the range of state your desired salary range. But I'm open to discussing the details of the compensation package, and I'm confident we can find something that works for both of us.
That sounds great. Confident, professional, and open to discussion. Okay, let's tackle another column that often pops up at the end. Do you have any questions for me? This is your chance to shine, to show them you're curious, engaged, and really interested in the role and the company.
Don't waste this opportunity. Come prepared with thoughtful questions that show you've done your homework. Ask about the company culture, their design philosophy, how they approach innovation, or their commitment to sustainability. You could also ask about specific projects the team is working on, or about opportunities for professional development and growth.
So some good questions might be, what's it like to work here? Can you tell me more about the company culture? Or maybe, what are some of the biggest challenges the team is facing right now, and how are you approaching them? Or, what are the opportunities for professional development and advancement within the company?
Exactly. Those are all excellent questions that show you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a place where you can thrive and make a real difference.
Well, we've covered a lot in our deep dive into the world of automotive engineering drafting. We've explored those tough interview questions, talked about career paths, and unlocked the power of AI with RoleCatcher's awesome tools.
We hope this deep dive has given you the insights, the strategies, and the confidence to ace those interviews and land your dream job.
So go out there, embrace the challenge, and design your future.